Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Johnson. I'm the Research Learning and Assessment Services Librarian at the Greenlease Library, and I'm a part of the Graduate Writing Initiatives, or GWI group on campus. Today's presentation we're going to talk about APA references for journal articles and websites. We need to talk about the general layout of an APA reference page. References are always listed at the end of the paper. You always list them on a separate piece of paper at the end of the paper. Reference header should be centered and bolded. You list references alphabetically by author's last name. You use a hanging indent for every reference that goes on a second line. It should be all double spaced, and you should only reference what is cited in your paper. Here is an example of an APA reference page layout. Let's look at it. In the center, you have the title references in bold. All the references are listed alphabetically with the author's last name from A to Z. Every reference that goes onto a second line has a hanging indent, and everything is double spaced. And the page number is in the top right corner, continuing the page number flow of the paper. So let's talk about the APA reference layout style. Here are the four components of an APA reference. You have the author or authors of the publication. You have the date of the publication. You have the title of the publication. And finally, you provide publication information, such as journal title, volume number, issue number, page range, GWI, URL, etc. Now let's talk about the reference layout for a journal article. Here's an example of how it should be laid out with two authors. Last name, comma, first initial, ampersand, last name, comma, first initial. That's the author's information. Then you put the publication year in parentheses, followed by a period. You put the title of the article in title caps, which means the first letter is capitalized but everything else is not. And then you provide the title of the periodical with the volume number, issue number, page range, and the GWI where you found the article. Let's see an example of this in practice. Here we have an article from the JAMA network. We have the author's name here. We have the year provided. We have the title of the article in title caps, which means the first word is capitalized but the rest isn't. And then we have the publication information, which is the publisher. It should always be italicized. Volume number should be italicized. Issue number should be in parentheses. And finally, the page range and the GWI. Now let's talk about doing a reference layout for a website. First, you want to find the author's last name, first initial. You want to provide the year, month, and day the web page was published. You want to provide the title of the web page. The first word should be capitalized and everything after that should not be. You want to provide the site name and you want to give a URL to the web page. But what if the website is a group or organization such as Microsoft? You want to list that name first, and it would be like Microsoft Corporation. You want to provide the year, month, and date that the web page was published. If you can't find that information, you'll list ND for no date. You want to provide the title of the web page, which will be, again, case sensitive, which means the first word is going to be capitalized. Everything after that isn't. You will provide the site name if it is different from the group name. You'll see an example of this in the next slide. And finally, you want to do a URL to finish it out. Here are some examples of our website APA references. Here you have your author's last name, first initial, the date in parentheses. You have the title of the work in italics in sentence case. And finally, you provide the website name and the URL. Like I mentioned earlier, what if you use a professional organization like the Center for Disease Control? So you list that, but perhaps it might not give a date, so you use ND for no date. You provide the title of the article And finally, you give the URL. You do not have to list the title of the website if it is the same as the author. Thank you for checking us out. If you need any more help with APA references or APA in-text citations, feel free to reach out to the Learning Center on campus or the library on campus, and we'd be happy to help.